So growing up in Spain, I come from a family that doesn't have faith or a religion. However, they value education a lot, so they sent me to Catholic school. So I spent K through 12 at this school, and I learned about Christianity and about Jesus, but I didn't develop a personal relationship with him at that time. And then I also grew up in a household that was hypercritical, where you kind of better be sure that you knew what you were saying with 100% certainty, otherwise you could be criticized. Like, I think that extra barrier for my mental health just made it hard for me. And when I moved to the US as a young adult, and it was a whole new culture, and I was going to grad school, and there were so many changes at the same time that really brought a big onset of anxiety for me. And I had to go to counseling and take medication, and then by 2020, 2021, like we all know, the pandemic happened, and so many political and social issues arose as well from there. And this just was an uptake for my issues with fear and anxiety. And then this really affected who I was as a mom and as a wife. So I have very little patience, and I was yelling way too frequently. So there was a time when we decided that I could maybe step away for a weekend and just take some quiet time to help myself through this big bout of panic and anxiety that I was experiencing. And when I went away for that weekend, I picked up a book on stress and anxiety that I had heard about in a podcast, but I didn't really know well. But it's called Try Softer. And then through these pages is where I really found Jesus in a relational way. And one quote that I love to read from the book that really stood out to me and I hold dear to this day. It says, "Again and again, he comes for us. He lovingly finds us. He makes a way where there was no way." I was 100% an atheist. I went to school for biology. I'm a scientist. I was thinking science is going to explain everything under the sun. And there was really no space for God in my mind or in my heart. So this really took me by surprise. And through reading this book, I really felt like God came to me in the broken pieces of myself, which is my fear and my anxiety. And he built this bridge in a way that he knew how to speak to me, because he knew that I'm someone who's always looking for knowledge and information in books. So what led me to getting baptized, it was a complete shock to myself as well. We went from Jesus was not part of my life at all to he's there every day with me, whether it's through reading the Bible, through in my prayer and in my thoughts, and just feeling that comforting presence and the encouragement that he's given me to support my mental health. So it just felt natural that I would acknowledge that relationship in a more public way. There were some barriers to it, actually. My husband was traveling and arriving the day before, and the day he arrived, he was a little sick, and then realized he had COVID. And then through the process, I also kept having these really horrible nightmares of all the things that were going to happen, impeding me to have this baptism. Now looking back on it, it just felt right that this way I know it wasn't decision like in the moment, like a knee-jerk reaction, or that I was under any pressure to be baptized. With respect to fears and anxieties, they're not completely gone, but now I have an anchor to go to find peace and Bible verses and in prayer. They're very much improved. I don't have the same panic attacks and terror that I used to have. And lastly, this testimonial is not about me. It's about God's power to meet us where we're in pain, and to meet us in ways that he can build that bridge that will get to us in a unique way, because he knows us intimately. It's also a testimony to the power of prayer, as so many friends and family have been praying for me for years and I didn't know, so that I could encounter Jesus. And it's also a testimony for the power of all of you with your Christian faith, just living out your Christian faith. People do take notice and people do want to live in a different way. They just don't know what they're looking for, and you can show it to them and just keep growing God's family.